Yeah, I mean, Kevin, I think you hit the nail on the head right there. I mean, that's exactly right. Listen, we all got into real estate to sell real estate, and so I think what you're saying is perfectly fine. Hey, how do I go from 25 deals to 40 deals next year and do it while working less, more efficiently, and also adding additional sources of revenue to my business?
Right. Right. We all want production. However, like you said, if you're looking at it from a 10,000, foot view over time, we want that production, like you said, revenue. We want that revenue and we want that profit. And how can we generate more revenue and more profit while working a little bit smarter, which means a little bit less and being able to leverage it and having that income, having multiple spokes in the wheel is what we're looking for, or multiple
Yeah,
spokes.
that Yeah, it always takes me back to that, the cash flow quadrant thing from
Mhm.
Robert Kiyosaki.
Kiyosaki.
I love that thing, and it's like, how do we move from employee to business owner to then investor and all that? That's
Right.
the key.
Well, we always talk about, so everybody wants to work smarter. And so if we, and for an entrepreneur, it's how can we work smarter, leverage what we have, make more profit. So, but before we work smarter, we got to work. Before we work smarter, we got to work harder. And before we work harder, we got to work. You know what I'm saying? And so it's the same thing. Everybody that gets into this industry, in our industry, they want to sell more houses, sell more houses, sell more houses. And that's great, because it gives us that base. But at some point, it's how can I sell more houses without me selling more houses? you know, without me
That's
selling more
right.
houses. How can I do that? And how can I build that business while helping other people build that business and generating revenue for all of us, which in turn turns to profit. So yeah, I can see where you're saying, hey, the ideal what part of the ideal agent that I'm looking for is somebody with that entrepreneurial spirit, not just someone who just wants to go out there and grind and sell a million houses and do all these things. Because we can do that, and you can do that whatever brokerage you're at. But with us,
Yes.
it's okay. What are the other ways that we can generate more revenue over time, to set us up over time to actually grow. A lot of these brokerages talk about running a business, but how can we do it where we really, really run a business, where we're running a grocery store, right? But we're not at the grocery store every day from 8 o'clock in the morning to 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah, yeah. I definitely that's the key. Like I was talking to an agent, and I quickly realized this person was not a fit because all she kept talking about was, well, but this 100% brokerage, they have me on it's 100% split. And I was
Right,
like, okay, great. But that's not, I'm not going to compete with you on that. But
right,
how are they going to help you build your long-term business? And this person was like, well, what do you mean? And I'm like, well, where are you going to be in 5 years? If you're selling, even if you 10x your production, you go from 20 deals to 200 deals, right? But like you just said, you're still working in the grocery store. So is
right,
that really what you want? So I want to, my goal with this is really to shift these conversations with agents to that, as opposed to like your E&O is $50 a deal and my E&O is $40 a deal. Like
right.
I don't know. To me, that's just not it's not an interesting conversation because it's very transactional. It's like, hey, what is it on that one deal or this year? But it's really ignoring 5 years from now. And like I said earlier, before I started the recording, like I wish I would have been thinking that way 3 years ago or 2 years ago because it would have been very different because I was thinking transactionally, hey, how do we do this year? How do we grow our team or how do we do more deals this year or this month?
Well,
But
but
not
if you
long
go
term.
back, so go back to 2016 or 17 when we connected at KW, right? Um, you did have this vision.
Right.
You know what? Because I remember us going over the pro forma and saying, okay, this is where we can be and should be. I think that I don't know if I don't want to say we didn't have the tools, but it's not that we didn't have the tools. We didn't have the platform at that time, or that platform was
Yes.
out there. But back then, EXP was in its relative infancy. And well, just like people were telling us we were drinking the KW Kool-Aid, the people that were drinking the EXP Kool-Aid, we really thought they were way out there at
Oh
that
yeah,
particular time. I mean, that's the reality. We really did. And I just think we didn't have the platform, or we weren't working within the correct or the best platform to do what you at that time envisioned doing.
100%. Yeah, I totally agree with, because we wanted to do expansion, but it got so messy over there with all the different offices and the
Right.
restrictions and the regulations and all that. Whereas here you can do that, exactly what we wanted to do, with no borders and no issues.
With no borders, with you being, in Dallas, with me being in Orange County, and then us talking about the connecting with agents in South Florida and the people that we have on the huddle that are from Vegas and all parts of Southern California. Like you said, we don't have those types of restrictions as far as expansion and really connecting with other agents that we had 8, 9 years ago.
Yeah, and I love what you said a little bit ago about, a big part of this, a big chunk is helping other agents achieve that, because, in every other model, I mean, the thing that really struck me, like when I was making my video, the EXP Explain, and I really dug into the model to understand it, it like the light bulb went off that, hey, in other models, like I have not a lot of incentive, quite frankly, to help other agents within the company,
Right,
because, I don't get much out of it. Even if I bring them on my team, the thinking is always like, oh, they're going to leave eventually and they're going to take all my stuff,
right,
being transparent. But here, that's totally fine, because we all win when other agents are succeeding because of revenue share and because of growing the brand. So we can give away all this support. You can do your huddle 3 times a week and coaching and all this stuff, because we're all going to win.
right,
We're not going to win by them paying for coaching. We're going to win through all of us, growing that revenue share.
right. Through the growth, through the production, through the growth, and all the connections that we make. So really, it's in this particular case, it is a long-term deal. So if we look at it as we want to make connections with people who have a big vision over the next 5 years and 10 years, right? And how they can build their business. If that's the case, then from this platform here, we have to look at that as a long-term deal too, right? It
Yes.
can't be, oh yeah, well, this week we have, limited activity or limited participation and engagement this week. So, oh, we're doing something wrong. Let's change the plan. Let's get off of the roadmap. This is a drive from Maine to California, and it's a long ass drive. It's not something that's going to happen in a day. We don't want to,
That's right.
and so, it really is. If you build it, they will eventually come, as long as we have that plan, have that vision, and then get the word out.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. And on getting the word out, I mean, that's kind of the purpose for me of this call, is I want to, and I'm starting to set up some goals around how many people I want to really invite, because I think the goal is the more people we can invite to hear the information, to hear about the model, because I guarantee you there's tons of people that have that entrepreneurial mindset that would love to be a part of this. Maybe they just don't know about it, or maybe
Right.
they've heard it the wrong way, or someone introduced it to them the wrong way, and so that really is the goal of this call. So I want to like really encourage everyone, invite your recruits and become more of a just an inviter and a connector rather than a salesperson. I heard this
Yeah.
yesterday on something where the guy was doing a sales training, and it was for a different opportunity, but he was saying, stop selling people, just invite them and explain what it is. And some people will be interested and some people won't. That's okay. Don't be mad at the people who aren't. Just keep
Right.
introducing more people to it.